Excuse me. Good morning. Is that working? Yeah, it is. Hi. Hello. I have my Mr. Rogers sweater on today. That's what I always feel like when I have this sweater on. So. I thought this was kind of interesting this morning, actually. We'll see if your first impression is the same that mine was. This is Ask Marilyn in the parade section this morning. A friend of mine has a 1-year-old son who can already use a tablet computer. He knows how to unlock the screen, select and open apps, scroll up and down, left and right. He enjoys using the apps that are designed for babies and very young children. Do you think it's a good idea for children this young to be using tablet, computer, and smartphones? Babies are products of nature, not of modern technology. At this age, their brains are still developing, and evolution has prepared them for living interactions and hands-on playthings to further and complete the process. I call it the organic imperative, and it isn't limited to infancy. Allowing electronic devices to encroach upon the fulfillment of these inborn needs is a risky business at best. I don't think even watching DVDs is a good idea at this age. A child's growing intellect might be deflected or harmed. Almost as bad if the parents are trying to produce a super kid. They should know that these efforts typically fail, or worse, backfire, even if not until later in life. You know, sometimes your first impressions, interesting idea. I guess time will tell about all this stuff, huh? We do have a couple patron saints, George Carlin and John Lennon. John said, "I believe in everything until it's disproved. So I believe in fairies, the myths, dragons. It all exists, even if it's in your own mind. Who's to say that dreams and nightmares aren't as real as the here and now?" I don't know. And George, when you're born, you get a ticket to a freak show. When you're born in America, you get the front row seat. Maybe, just maybe. Oh, this was kind of interesting. Time Magazine's Man of the Year for 1938. Adolf Hitler. Very good. Very good. Okay. Actually, I had these two. I had one on trick-or-treating and one about voting, and it's been sitting on my desk at home for the last 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm a little bit behind. Oops. You know you're too old to trick-or-treat when you get winded from knocking on the door. You ask for the high-fiber candy only. People say, "Great Boris Karloff mask," and you're not wearing a mask. When the door opens, you yell, "Trick," or you can't remember the rest. And you're the only Power Ranger in the neighborhood with a walker. And by the end of the night, you have a bag full of restraining orders. And the last but not least is trick-or-treating if you keep having to go home to pee. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. Not at all. More Christian one-liners. Oops. Many folks want to serve God, but only as advisors. It is easier to preach 10 sermons than it is to live one. Sometimes true. The good Lord, oh, that's, somehow I lost page 2. This is from 2010, so hey, I lose things. We're called to be witnesses, not lawyers or judges. That might be true. Hey, you know, Thanksgiving's coming up. We're going to have Thanksgiving here. If you want to sign up in the back, there's a sign-up sheet. By all means, show up. We had a good time last. Is this the second? I've asked this before, haven't I? Yes, I know. I remember. So, second year. It was so good last year. We're going to do it again. So, if you want to bring the families, that's fine. Just tell us so we kind of get an idea of what we're doing. That's not going to really help, is it? So. Oh, okay. Okay. The kite was once Britain's most common bird of prey. Almost any day a person could look up and see one of these graceful birds gliding with the wind. The kite would spread its wings and drift overhead looking for a rodent to prey on. About the beginning of the 17th century, English children learned to make a wooden frame which they stretched paper tightly across. When they pulled it on the string, it gained altitude and fluttered much like a kite. So it was natural that it should be called a kite. So now you know. I know you've been wondering about that for years, haven't you, where that came from? Now you know. Things that make you go, I picked up another one or two today that I haven't done before. Amazing. Almost all of our faults are more pardonable than the methods we resort to hide them. Every truth passes through 3 stages before it is recognized. In the first, it is ridiculed. In the second, it is opposed. And in the third, it is regarded as self-evident. Interesting. Interesting. In quarreling, the truth is always lost. Probably true. It's Publius Syrus in the 1st century BC. I always get a kick out of smart people way back then. You know, I've done this one before, so if you remember it, I apologize. If you haven't heard it, then here we go. Heaven and hell. While walking down the street one day, a corrupt senator was tragically hit by a car and died. His soul arrives in heaven and is met by St. Peter at the entrance. Welcome to heaven, says St. Peter. Before you settle in, it seems there is a problem. We seldom see a high official around here, around these parts, like yourself. That in itself should be a kick out of time. No problem. Just let me in, says the senator. Well, I'd like to, but I have orders from higher ups. What we'll do is have you spend 1 day in hell and 1 day in heaven. Then you can choose where to spend your eternity. Really? I've made up my mind. I want to be in heaven, says the senator. I'm sorry, we have our rules. And with that, St. Peter escorts him to the elevator, and he goes down, 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 down to hell. That's how you do that. To hell. Is that deep enough? That's not even deep enough. Who can do it better? The doors open, and he finds himself in the middle of a green golf course. In the distance, a clubhouse standing in front of it with all of his friends and other politicians who have worked with him. Everyone is very happy and in evening dress. They run to greet him, shake his hand, and reminisce about the good times that they had while getting rich at the expense of the people. They played a friendly game of golf, then dined on lobster, caviar, and the finest champagne. Also present is the devil, who really is a very friendly guy who is having a good time dancing and telling jokes. They're really all having such a good time that before the senator realizes it, it's time to go. Everyone gives him a healthy farewell and waves while the elevator rises. Up, 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 and up it goes. Door opens in heaven where St. Peter is waiting for him. Now, it's time to visit heaven. So, 24 hours pass with the senator joining a group of contented souls moving from cloud to cloud, playing the harp and singing. They have a good time, and before he realizes that 24 hours have gone by, and St. Peter returns. Well then, you spent a day in hell, you spent another day in heaven. Now, choose your eternity. The senator reflects for a minute. Then he answers, well, I would never have said it before, but that mean heaven has been delightful, but I think I would rather be better off in hell. So, St. Peter escorts him back to the elevator, and down, down, down he goes. Door opens, the elevator opens, and he's in the middle of a barren land covered with waste and garbage. He sees all of his friends dressed in rags, picking up the trash and putting it in black bags. As more and more trash keep falling from above, the devil comes over to him, puts his arm around his shoulders. I don't understand, stammers the senator. Yesterday I was here and there was golf course, clubhouse, and we ate lobster and caviar and drank champagne and danced and had a great time. Now there's just a wasteland of garbage and my friends look miserable. What the heck happened? The devil smiles at him and says, well, yesterday we were campaigning. Today you voted. So let's just hope everybody picked well. All right. Oh, and hello all you people on YouTube. Hello. Still freaks me out whenever I think about that, but so. All right. Huh?
Can't be that bad.
Well, when you have people come up to you in the mall and say, haven't I seen you somewhere before? And go, well, I don't know. And they're some of our YouTube viewers living right here in the Tri-Cities that I've never met before, that have never been to the church, and yet they watch our YouTube. It's interesting. Hello. Let's sing a song. I don't remember what I've got queued up.
Every day, every day.
Way cool.
Way cool, way cool. Avalanche. Okay. First thing, if you have any calendar items that need to be on our church calendar, you need to check with Heidi, and she'll make sure that they get on there. They go through the board first, but she's the one that manages that. So check with Heidi on that. So let me just look at you. Look at you. I'm glad you're here. It's important for me to just observe you from the eyes of love, because sometimes we put ourselves in a position to be invisible. When I had my second grade picture taken, I can show it to anybody and go, oh, I'm in this picture. See if you can find me. No one can. Because I was invisible. I had energy of invisibility. I did not want to be seen. And I think sometimes we go through life with that invisibility shield up, because we don't want to make waves, we don't want to be criticized, we don't want to be observed, we don't want to be vulnerable. Here you can be vulnerable. Here you're safe. And when I can look in your eyes with the eyes of love, and you can feel really present, really here, your spirit soars. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And you know, there are times in this life when you kind of just do have to be shielded up. Not here. You're safe. And I'm glad you feel safe enough to be here. Because you wouldn't be here if you didn't feel safe. So it all kind of works together. And at the same time, that allows me to be vulnerable and let you see me for who I really am. And that's really scary for somebody who has been invisible a lot of their life. So thank you for beholding me with the eyes of love. That means a lot to me. And thank you for allowing me to behold you with the eyes of love. So in the email I sent out to you, I said we would talk about angels today. And, of course, something else came through. Don't you just love it? Just love it. So if we get a chance, maybe the angels will worm their way through into this presentation. We'll see. Never know what's going to happen. Has anyone experienced the angels this week after we talked about them last week? Got a couple of people? Yeah, cool. Way cool. Wonderful. So there's more to come on that. If you had any clue about how much your angels love you, this would give you a clue as to how much Divine Spirit loves you. Even more than that. They are an expression of that divine source. So as you're feeling their presence in your life, they're working in your life. And this gives you just a hint, just a taste of how much love is really there for you. So let's talk a little bit. Some of you know I'm writing a book, another book. Actually, I have several on my desk at the same time right now. But the one I'm writing right now, I just finished chapter 6. In chapter 6, I'm not going to tell you about chapter 6. What I thought this morning I would ask your assistance, because in part of chapter 6, I talk about writing a life's purpose statement. Not a mission statement, but a life's purpose statement that crystallizes the path that we're on. And when we have that, life just gets clearer. Life just gets clearer. The first time I ever wrote a mission statement, which is like a longer version of what I want to talk to you about today. Everything clarified for me. So instead of doing all these different things, I got really clear. And I was able to proceed. And even though somebody says, oh, you want to do this over here? Maybe that was a wonderful thing to do, but it didn't fit my path. Thank you for that invitation, but no, I'm going to do this over here. Well, you used to do this over here. Well, you know, I used to do that for you, but now I'm doing this. And it clarified my path, and all the stuff that I got scattered with fell away, because all of a sudden it either fit or it didn't. If it fit, I'm locked and loaded, I was in it. And if it did not fit, it was easy to say, oh, that doesn't fit for me anymore. No shame, no blame, no right or wrong, good or bad, just, oh, that doesn't fit for me right now. And I could say that. See, I'm one of those people who cannot say the word no. Maybe not. No is just hard for me. I don't know if it's just the people pleasing in me or what the deal is, but no is really hard. I don't like to say no. A dog begs for a treat. I don't tell her no. I mean, for heaven's sakes. Of course, who could tell a dog no, right? But no is really hard word. So to be able to be in this place where I could clearly have a safe boundary, have a pathway that I was locked and loaded, and I could say, no, thank you, and not feel bad about that. That was really important. So I thought of a few path statements. And then I thought, well, I wonder what everybody else's path statements are. And then I realized, I've never walked you through that process. So maybe this would be a really good process for me to share with you today. But you probably already have your life purpose statement. Not your mission statement, but your life purpose statement. Now, like, here's a mission statement. Through my intuitive abilities, my caring heart, and my dedication, I create loving, supportive environment, opportunities to serve, and harmony in my life. As a result, people grow into themselves. I am financially rewarded, and a third one would be happiness finds me. So that's a mission statement. 3 best qualities, 3 things you want to create, 3 results. That's a mission statement. When I first got that, oh man, that was awesome. Now, life purpose statement is a little shorter than that, because you know, it's a little hard to remember all of that at one time. But a life purpose statement is like clarity leads the way. When you have that life purpose statement, it changes everything. Clarity leads the way. Okay, so my house is cluttered. Clarity leads the way. So I prefer clarity. And when I get in that place of I prefer clarity, then it's easy to clear up the clutter. When I tell myself, oh, I've got to clean house, where's the energy in that? Not. Because then you rely on willpower. There's no willpower. Willpower lasts this long, right? Get to this one stack of paperwork, and I got to figure out where everything goes. As soon as I decide a few things, I have no willpower left. Willpower is an activity of the mind. And when you've made a decision, you're out of willpower. You're done. Toast. But if you're coming from your heart space and you're letting your heart lead the way, my heart cherishes clarity. Ooh, I get to go get that countertop cleaned off. Whole different energy. Now, some days I have to pray for that because it doesn't come naturally. Then you invite angels to come join you. Pray for willingness. Oh, angels of willingness, please come and join me. Help me with this. So I'd like to see if we could help each of you create for yourself a purpose statement. Short and sweet, that locks and loads. Gotcha? So Mr. Phil, would you make sure people in the back have pen and paper? Because here's the problem. Here's the problem. Without a purpose statement, we are subject to doubt. And like my friend Rochelle says, doubt knocks it out. When you have doubt, you don't have faith. And when you don't have faith, you don't have endurance. I have this lovely Bible passage I want to share with you. And the reason I really like this Bible passage is when I was growing up, my dad's word for me was stupid. Hey, stupid, bring me this. Hey, stupid, do that. Hey, stupid, do this. It was not fun. It was not fun. So when I got into high school, I was sitting in a Bible class. My grandson calls them Bible class. I was in Bible class. I think it was a junior in high school. Maybe it was a freshman. I think it was a junior in high school. And I read this passage. And it was OMG. Shifted my world. I'm going to read it to you. James, first chapter. I'll start with verse 2. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials. Oh crap. I mean, oh crap's not in here. This is an interpolation here. Consider it all joy. Okay, this is one of the hardest things we can ever do, is finding the joy. Am I feedback here, Phil? If I got feedback, is this too much? I'm sorry. I talk loud and then talk soft. Joy is different than happy. Happy is what happens when everything happens my way. Joy is that underlining feeling that transcends circumstances. Joy happens when we have gratitude. I'm really grateful for blah, 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 even if it's a trial, because, and when you find the because, there's joy. So whatever's going on in your life right now, this is just an aside, we haven't got to the doubt thing yet. I'll get there. Find whatever's going on in your life right now that's not the way you want it to be, and say, I'm really grateful for this because, and then what's the because? When you find the because, joy happens. Because joy is a gift from divine source that happens without effort, without struggle. Well, I'm going to be joyful now. No. Joy happens when we get to a place of acceptance and appreciation and gratitude for whatever. So be grateful in all things. So something not good is happening in your life. So be grateful for it and find the because. So who's having trouble with this part? Anybody? Because I need an example to help you. You haven't had trouble? No, you know, oh, don't know. I'm not having trouble. Okay, so let's just say you're having a health issue. Somebody raise your hand? Okay, Valerie. What?
High blood pressure in my weight.
High blood pressure. I'm really grateful for my high blood pressure because
it gives me the opportunity to look at what I need to do to become healthy again.
okay, so for in the back. Because it gives me the opportunity to look at what I need to do to get healthy. Okay, so your weight. I'm grateful for the excess weight because
The excess weight is what I can do to change that situation.
nope. I'm grateful for the excess weight because, see the first one, could you feel the genuine caring of yourself? Oh, I get to look and see what I can do to care for myself. And then the other one, no, I got to change it.
So the excess weight, I feel, is connected with the high blood pressure.
Okay, but I'm grateful for the extra weight I'm carrying because how does that extra weight, how has it served you in the past?
I've been able to hide from it.
Because I've been able to hide behind it. I'm grateful for this extra weight because I've been able to hide behind it. So as you move into a place of, now I'm ready to step out, you can see by having gratitude for it, then it's not something you have to fight. Gotta get rid of that damn word. I hate it. Now there's a gratitude. Do you feel the joy? Bingo. Bingo. Who else? Yes, Kelly.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
I'm grateful for rheumatoid arthritis because it's had me slow down and appreciate what I can do. Amen to that. Now, did you feel a shift? This is hard work. This is why they call it spiritual discipline. If it were easy, it would all be that. We'd all be just joyfully happy all the time. Happy, happy. I'm really happy. You can't fake joy. You can fake happy, but you can't fake joy. Who else? Anybody else? Is this fun or what? It really is. Having that because brings joy. So with that, consider it all joy. It's all good. It's all good. Even the Sokola stuff has a benefit. And as soon as we accept the benefit and see the benefit of it, then the bad stuff shifts. It really works. And if the bad stuff doesn't shift, we have joy no matter what. Joy is the gift given to us when we give the gift, when we give the expression of gratitude. We do the gratitude and joy is the gift. Happens every time. Every time. Every time. Okay? Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. Now, I'm not going to go to the passage that says this, but there's a Bible passage that says God does not test anyone. But we have tests and trials. And the result of that produces endurance. And you're going to need it. What does a runner do? If they have a long marathon they're going to do, they start running. And they build their endurance. You know, they run a bit, and then the next day they run a little bit further, and the next day, and they push themselves because it's necessary to achieve the goal. So spiritually, you might be pushing yourself right now, working through a trial, working through a difficult time, a dark night of the soul, because the endurance is going to give you something even better. Let endurance have its perfect result. Oh, there's a perfect result of endurance? Yup. That you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Lacking in nothing. We talk about manifesting all the time. Well, why can't I manifest this? Have the endurance. Have the faith. But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all men generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. In that junior high class, Bible class, I prayed for wisdom because I thought, I'm stupid. So I prayed for wisdom. Now there's a lot of stuff I don't know, and that's why God gave me Phil. But there's some stuff that I have wisdom about. Not because I'm just this wise, wonderful, great person, but because it was given to me. And I looked for it. I sought it. But let him ask in faith without doubting. For the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. Let not that man expect he will receive anything from the Lord, being a double-minded and unstable, double-minded man and unstable in all his ways. So doubt's a killer. Doubt is an activity of the mind, and faith is an activity of the heart. When we are in the heart space, and we act from this heart space, purposefulness, the mind shuts the heck up and helps us find a way. Maybe you don't know how to get from here to there. Find that purposefulness, and the mind will be this wonderful, beautiful servant that will guide you and lead you using spiritual purposes, spiritual practices, and guidance from a higher source. Make sense? So a spiritual, purposeful statement is one that crystallizes your life into just a phrase, into a simple statement. For me, it was clarity leads the way. So what else could we do? What else could be another statement here? Actually, I'm going to write those down. I just had a pencil. There we go. Okay, so back up. What do you want to do in your life? Valerie, what do you want to do in your life?
I want to help others, and I would like to teach others.
Okay, like to teach others. You sing, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so what if we made all that effortless and said, my life is a song? How does that feel?
I know it.
Yeah. So then anything that's not a song in your life, you either change it or change yourself. And see how that locks and loads? Who else? Who else can I help you find a purpose statement? Yes, ma'am. Tell me your first name again. Sarah. You want to what? Heal the world. It's big. It's huge. How about healing lights the way? How does that feel? So that when you have an opportunity or you see an opportunity to heal, you can. Because it's about healing right here, right now. We're in the now. You heal one person, that person goes heals another person, and that person heals another person. So maybe a better one would be healing is a drop. Healing is, here's what I'm saying, a little drop of water in a pool. So what do we say about that? How can we say that? Healing is a ripple. Healing is a ripple effect. What did you say, Daryl?
Eternal.
Ooh, healing is eternal. How does that feel?
That's the one.
And there's lots of different ways to be a healer. Sometimes just being present for someone, smiling, listening, lots of healing, as well as all the Reiki and quantum touch and all those other things. Who else? Yes, ma'am.
Joy spreads light.
Ooh, I love that.
What'd you say?
Joy spreads light. Sorry. Yeah, no, my pen doesn't want to work. There we go. Anybody need help? Yes, sir.
I want to teach children to read well.
I hear you. That would be wonderful. How about words expand the mind, or stories heal the soul?
Words expand spirit.
Words expand spirit. I like that. What else? Who else? Yes, ma'am. Cece.
I would like to make life a little bit easier for others.
Making life a little bit easier for others. How about grace finds a way? Because when you grace someone with a gentle attention or kindness finds a way. How does that, either of those feel right to you? What else?
I want to find peace and help others find the peace also within their spirit.
Well, that could be peace finds a way.
Peace finds a way.
Peace finds a way. Sorry. That way, you don't have to be their peace. You can be a peacemaker without having to carry the conflict.
Well, what I want to do is by reflecting peace, it shows other people that they can also find peace.
So maybe for you it would be more important to say, I reflect peace.
That feels better.
Anybody else?
I'm not really sure whether it's see or acknowledge which what I want to do.
Speak.
I want to see the world, or I want to acknowledge the world.
Well, the word see carries with it that awareness. So maybe let me ask. By acknowledge the world, do you mean, tell me what you mean by that. I'll translate for you in the back, sorry.
Like to go to the certain place and acknowledge either the efforts of nature or the efforts of man.
Okay, to go to a place and acknowledge the efforts or acknowledge.
To actually be
To witness. Oh, there you go. I witness the earth. There you go. Sometimes we just need to keep talking it. It'll talk itself out. But when you have a purpose statement for yourself, everything else is just stuff. That will free you up. Yeah. Heal the hurt of the past? Your past or somebody else's past? Okay. Healing the hurt of the past. Okay, so what I'm being told for you is what is the result you want to attain? How about love walks with me? Because love will walk with you back into your past and love will walk with you forward. Feel right? Yes, ma'am.
I want to find a peace and happiness within me that eludes me inside over here.
Okay, so again, peace and happiness. Happiness is something that we expect from outside circumstances, and joy happens when we have gratitude. So perhaps gratitude leads the way, would really be helpful. Because when we have that gratitude takes us out of comparing. This is what was and this is what is. I had this cat. His name is Bruiser. He was big Bruiser. He was a bruiser. Big black cat. 18 pounds monster. And as Bruiser got older, he used to go anywhere. He was master of the neighborhood. Man, if there was a fight, he would run to it because he was going to take care of business. He was going to make whatever happen. He was going to be the winner of that. He never had an injury to his tail because it always was his face because he never ran from a fight. He was a bruiser, chingered teeth and walked like a bruiser. And when he got a little older, then he kind of was limited to the backyard and the field behind us. And then when he got a little older, then he was limited to the porch, back porch, and front yard. And then we got a little older, then he was limited to the front porch and the family room and dining room. And when he got a little older, he was limited just to the family room, because that was about all he could do. That cat purred all the time. He didn't care that his world was diminishing or things that changed. He was happy. He chose to be happy. And he purred. No matter what was going on, you could walk up and pet him, and he was old and decrepit, and he would purr. He was happy. He was a happy cat. Because he was grateful for what he had. Because he had been a street cat. And nobody loved him, and nobody fed him, and he had to fend for himself. So now, no matter what his world was, he knew he had people who cared for him, and he was taken care of. And you know, he was old and decrepit, and he probably didn't feel really very good, but he purred. And he was a happy cat. So I choose happy, or I choose gratitude, or gratitude leads the way, or I find joy now. That would be an awesome one. Because if you look for it, we'll find it. I find it, some of the saddest things I've ever seen is people who have a lot of money, they have power and prestige, and they have title and all kinds of stuff that's they've achieved in their life, and they're miserable. That's sad. It's really, really sad. And somebody who has nothing can be really happy. And they can be happy because they have this gratitude thing going. I'm reading this book about gratitude from Louise Hay. She told a story about this guy took his granddaughter to lunch, and then when he took her home, found that the family, his kids and their children, were living in a bus. And so she said, "Come on in, Grandpa, I want to show you." So she walked around and showing him the house. She said, "Oh, you want to see my room?" Well, it was a makeshift thing upstairs that they'd kind of done. And so he was like heartbroken and crushed and feeling dreadful. And he said, "So you like it? Okay." "Oh, I love it. I love my wall." And she'd had this beautiful red tapestry, a little frayed on the edges, beautiful red tapestry put up on one of her walls. "I love my wall." So even in the humblest places, she found something she loved. And that brought her joy. And everything else was just stuff. Everything else was just stuff. So I find love in whatever I do. I find love everywhere. That could help bring that peace and that joy and that gratitude and all those things that you're seeking. And when in doubt, purr. Let's do a guided meditation, shall we?